Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of Fit Tips with Autumn. Today I wanted to talk about something that I struggle with a lot and is even more prevalent now that we're in stay-at-home or quarantine or whatever you want to call it, and that is boredom eating. I want to talk about kind of what is boredom, what causes that, and then what are some ways that we can prevent using eating as a way to get rid of that boredom. We'll start off with kind of what is boredom and what causes it. Boredom is very individual and can be caused by different things for different people. So you might find the news boring, other people might find sports boring, exercise might be boring to you. You might find fashion boring, and other people love those things, right? Boredom can also be caused by having nothing to do. A lot of times you'll be sitting around the house, especially now during quarantine, feels like there's nothing going on, there's nothing to do, and you're bored. But people can also be doing nothing and not feel bored. And finding something to do or having something to do doesn't always cure boredom. You could be bored at work when you've got lots of different tasks to do. You could have a show on and still find it boring. So when we look at psychologically what the real cause of boredom is, it isn't empty time or repetition or not having anything to do. The real cause of boredom is a sense of meaningless, right? You're not finding any meaning in the things that you're doing. That's why two people could have the exact same job. One person could be bored at work while the other person loves it, right? So if boredom is a problem with meaning, then why do we eat to try to cure boredom? Because obviously eating doesn't carry a whole lot of meaning, and research shows that lots of people do this, shows that people who are often bored eat more food in general. After doing a boring task, people want to use food as a reward. When you're bored, you usually will want to eat some kind of exciting food, and that's why typically boredom eating involves a lot of junk food. But we find that food doesn't really fix the boredom problem, but it does provide us with some sort of distraction and at least a sensation that we're craving when we're bored. When you're bored, you're looking for any kind of sensation just to feel something. Food is relatively cheap and easily available, right? You've got lots of food sitting around, whether at home, whether you're at work, and you can eat in almost any situation. No one's gonna stop you from snacking while you're at work. If you're at a meeting, they'll bring food in. If you're at home, you can just pop a bag of popcorn and snack while you're in front of the TV. So it's easy to eat while continuing other tasks, right? So if we are using eating as sort of a band-aid to fix this boredom problem, what are some different ways that we can prevent this? Because obviously that's not helping anybody reach their health goals, it's not helping anybody reach their fitness goals if we're doing unnecessary snacking of junk food when we're bored, right? So the first thing I would say when it comes to preventing boredom eating is if your body is telling you that you're actually hungry, then go ahead and eat. But I would just recommend, if you struggle with knowing your body's hunger cues, then just take a little bit of time before you get up to eat when you're bored to really determine if you're hungry or not. So sit there for 5 to 10 minutes when you start to feel hungry. See if that urge to eat continues. And if it does and you're actually hungry, go ahead and eat. The important thing here is that we're actually making a decision and not just mindlessly filling a need. The next step to prevent boredom, and one of the easiest ways, is just to not buy it, right? Self-discipline is hard and it takes time to develop that skill, so I like to make things as easy as possible. So if you don't have snacks in the house, then you can't snack when you're bored. You go looking for a snack and you're forced to cook something, right? That's going to prevent you a little bit just from grabbing something and quickly eating it. And choosing healthier options while it's still possible to overeat, it's going to be at least a lot more difficult. Big thing here is to start to learn and know your triggers. Another tip for preventing boredom eating is to only eat in a specific area, like the kitchen table. It's really easy to overeat while you're snacking if you are doing other tasks, right? It's super easy if you've got the TV on just to mindlessly continue to eat and not really ever feel the sensation of being full because you're not listening to your body. But if you force yourself to eat in a specific area, make eating its own task, you'll be much more focused on what you're doing. You'll be able to listen a lot better to those hunger cues that your body is giving you. You'll be able to tell when you're full, and it will prevent you from eating too much when you do choose to snack. The most important thing with making any change is to remember that we're shooting for progress and not perfection. You can't expect to make a behavior change overnight. Mistakes are a normal part of learning a new skill, and that's what a behavior change is, right? We're adapting and we're learning a new skill. So it's important to just learn from those mistakes, figure out what those triggers are that are causing you to eat when you're bored, and then you can make changes to those circumstances. And then also just look for things that help you find meaning so we can reduce the time that we feel bored. And then over time, you'll be able to recognize those triggers and those circumstances, adapt new behaviors and new habits. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, please like and comment below, and we'll bring you a new episode of Fit Tips with Autumn next week.